Coming to you live from the top floor of the OBB Corporate Tower in downtown Coral Gables. You're listening to the top-rated American football podcast in countries that don't play American football. Ain't that some shit? These are the Orange Bowl Boys.
Brought to you by Ed Morse. Join the over 2 million people that are backed by Morse. Visit edmorse.com.
Here's Toast, Roman, and Scoop.
Welcome to the Mario era, chapter 74.
74 de Mario. It's me. It's Mario. Is that terrible?
No, that's the passion.
Is that the pattern?
Like
sorry,
that,
I'm
like-
on row.
You got to do better than Roe. Do better than Roe.
You did better
great
than that
last
like 4
time.
weeks ago. Yeah, like what is there? Is there like a funeral going on and somewhere else in the room?
I mean, it's raining pretty good. I had to
Come
take
on,
a
let's get it
second.
from
All
the
right,
belly
one
here.
more time. One more time.
All right, one more time. That was the prep. That was the
100%. That's
warm.
100%
All right, here we
staying
go.
in the show, though. So go ahead.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Mario era, chapter 74.
74 de Mario. It's me. It's Mario.
It's me. With that now, that movie now plays at my house nonstop.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Have you guys seen it? Either of you seen it?
I have
No, I
not.
have kids, so
There we go.
Well, see, here's the difference.
Bingo.
Here's no. Here's the difference, though, because Andrew's like, he doesn't have kids, but he's not quite old enough to appreciate me going
going
and
with
watching that movie in the theaters and going, man, that's so damn good. Like, they did so good with so much of that movie to appeal to our Gen, what are we, X, to Gen X, and then to the kids.
you sure you're young enough to still be wearing that flat bill?
She jumped on that flagpole. She did.
Flat bill.
What,
Yeah.
this thing? Well, it's Ed Morse. It's Ed Morse.
Fair enough.
I'm young enough to wear
So
this.
is it
What
on
is
a
that?
streaming
I'm
service
too
yet?
old to wear the flat bill?
I'm just saying.
I'm like Pat Perez, bro.
You're calling out my age. Like what?
I'm like Pat Perez.
Thank you, Andrew.
Well, I don't know
Listen,
if Pat needs to be wearing that. He's got so much money.
Listen, boy band lead singer here is eternally young at heart, and he's always going to keep wearing that flat bill. You know, listen, his friends have come to just accept it.
Yeah.
It's part of his moxie.
Look, man.
It's his flair.
The aging thing, the aging process, for those who haven't quite gotten there yet, it sucks. Like,
Yeah.
all of a sudden you're dealing with shit and you're like, bro, this does, and in my head, I'm like you said, I'm 25 in my head. And then I'm not. Like, physically, I'm just not. And I'm like, God dang it, it's just brutal.
Yeah, it's a son of a bitch.
The whole midlife crisis thing, thankfully I haven't had that, but that's like real. Like, I get it. I get it.
sure.
When dudes get to that point, it is a phenomenon like no other, mentally.
Well, listen, before we get into this,
saying.
we should probably mention that we have a special guest. And for those, this is a podcast and folks aren't watching it while we are. Back for his second run in just over 5 episodes.
Yeah.
Mr. Andrew Novak, courtesy of the PGA Tour.
Welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
owe you,
I guess that means I did good enough the first time to win a second. So I'm here filling in for the great Roe. He can't be here today. He's prepping. His son Franco is going on a tour. His baby Trout. So they got a nationwide, every podcast, TV show, NIL deal. Next big thing in baseball. So I couldn't be here today.
3 bombs yesterday up in
Yep, exactly.
Ohio.
I owe you an apology, Andrew. So I was in Ohio this past weekend. Speaking of which,
Speaking of Ohio,
and I
had
Dayton.
nobody here to help me. OH.
Yeah. Fuck you.
That's the proper response.
No one will help me today.
Not happening. Not happening. Anyways, it was up there for a OBB Discord U wedding, and had a great time. But so while up there, they have Sportsbook. And the beauty up there, guys, you can just go ahead and get Sportsbook. You open up for the first time on the account with like $5, and they give you $200 in free bets, right? Oh yeah. So all of a sudden, we're sitting. I got there on Thursday. All of a sudden on Friday, I noticed that there's a name I recognize. It seems to be right there in the lead, amongst the leaders at the tournament, and I just threw down a $20 bonus bet on your ass to win it. Here's the problem, man. I am an awful gambler, and I'm like a jinx, and so I believe it was my fault. But just so you know, I would have cleared 2,500.
Yeah, I was gonna say, at my odds, they give me $20. You might have made more than me.
I don't know about that. I mean, because I think now it's Andrew Novak.
It's Cha-ching.
Yeah.
Hide the money, y'all. There's poor people around.
Hide the money.
Yeah.
PGA.
Congratulations, man.
Throwing money out there these days.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not sure. Obviously, I know he does, but that top 10 puts you over the $1 million mark for the year.
It does. Just crept past it. And it's been a much better year than last year. So
you just made $1 million playing golf. Are you kidding me? Like, did at any point were you just like, holy shit, what the pinch me?
Every day. I go out and I do what people do on the days that they don't have to work. And I do that every day. And they pay me way more money than I should get for that. And that's all I do. I don't this week I'm home. I have an off week. I'm literally just unemployed. I just do it. I mean, I practice, but nothing going on this week. I don't have to work. Kind of nice. I mean,
even the practice, but he practices, but even that practice facility, it's a joke, bro. He gets to go there to practice on Sea Island on the Atlantic, literally on the Atlantic. I mean, it doesn't. Yeah, it's not shabby. It's not shabby. No, it's dope, man. That was a great tournament. You got to play with Nick Taylor, which was pretty awesome. That bomb he made on the fourth playoff hole. And it's funny. I said, because Tommy had 2 holes in a row to win it, right? From about 12 feet on both of them. And the second one, I said to the girls, if he misses this, Taylor's going to win it on the next hole. Because that's just the way it goes.
That was the spot to putt to. To that
below the
that's
hole.
Where you make the
he
putt.
Missed both of them left. Not even close. So it was I was I've seen this too many times. You gave up too many chances there. And the bomb was nuts, dude. That was.
He did make that one really good one though on the first playoff hole that kept him in it though. So he'll get his eventually.
That was fun, man.
How was the crowd kind of building up as a Canadian is trying to win just building the whole time?
That's the most incredible crowd I've ever been around. Those fans make that tournament. They literally Canada is ingrained in my brain. That was the loudest fans I've ever been around. And keep in mind, I played with Scotty Scheffler in Fort Worth, Texas at Colonial a few weeks ago. The fans in Canada for Nick Taylor were so much louder. Unbelievable. They literally, and Nick played great too, but they willed that man to win the tournament. They just, every hole, just serenading him down the fairway, just cheering him on the whole time.
Really?
It was incredible. It was cool to be a part of.
That's awesome. I mean, the dude went on a 2-day heater. I mean.
Oh, yeah. 63 Saturday.
Yeah. Crazy.
The way he's putting, I'm not surprised. He made everything.
He did make everything.
He made some big par putts on the front nine and some birdie putts, and then kept it going.
Well, yeah. I mean, he had a couple of chips he left pretty short. Made both of them.
He got he had some tough they got in those awkward positions that rough was so long and you kind of just roll off and you're kind of in the shorter stuff, but the longer stuff right behind it, those were so difficult to get right.
Dude, you see the shots of the rough around the greens that they're posting
Yeah,
from LA?
well, that's different.
Holy
So that's
Christ.
Bermuda. So, but yeah,
That'll take your club
interesting.
head off.
There's not much, and it's not even like, aren't they? Because I had heard, and I thought we were going to do this later in the show, but
Well, I think we are. So we should, because I want to talk about the live thing and all that stuff. So yeah,
all right, we'll circle back because I want to talk about the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the U.S. Circle back to that.
All right. So let's get down to Green Tree with our special guest, Andrew Novak.
Line 72. Line 800.
Listen,
That was late. My
we
apologies.
have been. It's okay. It's okay.
No,
All good.
that was not on time.
No judgment. Do you want to do it again?
Nope.
This is second. This is good. The second take show.
Yeah, no. But that was piss
No?
poor. I was pissed poor.
I think that may be the name of it though.
Washed.
That was pretty bad. It was good. It was just late. Like
Yeah. All right.
a beat and
all
a
right.
half late.
All right, so we've been saying it for what? I don't know how many weeks now. There has just basically been a steady stream of crazy talent showing up for official visits, and it continues this weekend. Now, here's the thing. So it was, I don't know, I guess like mid 60s in terms of shows. So like 10 or so shows ago, maybe, or maybe not that, maybe like 5 shows ago. I don't know, like 68, 69. I made reference that I had heard that amongst the coaching staff, they felt they had a legit shot for this to be a top 5 class by July. And right now, class is sitting at like 25, 26, 27, somewhere in there. You've got 1 4-star in Chance. Everyone's a 3-star, although the young man that just committed was a 4-star, and then he committed and boom, became a 3-star, so whatever. But man, there's just been 5-stars after 4-stars coming into campus the last 3 to 4 weeks. Do you think they're going to get any of these guys to close here? I mean, it's June 14th, Wednesday evening when we're recording this. Think we're going to start getting some commitments here over the next couple of weeks? Like major ones?
I think you start seeing a bit of a wave going starting this weekend. I think they start kind of getting it rolling, start piecing them together, and starting the what do they call it, the waves of commits. It's June is the new December, January of recruiting. You know, this is when the guys show up now. It used to be with February signing day, everybody focused on December, January. Now with the early signing day, you're trying to get everybody in, but in the fall you're playing. So June, this is kind of the time of year where you got to get those visits in, get those guys locked up, and put your best foot forward.
You know, I mean, Pate was down there all last week. And I mean, really, really awesome. Look, he's a fan of the U and the brand and wanting it to be good again, great again, maybe. And he mentioned his time being around Georgia, being around Bama, being around the juggernauts over the last, 10 to 15 years, really. And saying, look, I've been there. I've been in the building. I've seen it. And he's like, I don't think that I've seen a recruiting weekend quite like what they're going to have this coming weekend, which was last weekend, right? And then they follow it up with this weekend. And if any of you guys, now I don't pay as close attention as I used to. Ro and I used to be very heavy into recruiting. But it's very time consuming. And then everything changed. And then you have the portal. And then as Andrew was saying, you got to deal with the fact that now it's June is really the heavy time. So you get ready before the visits. And now the visits are unlimited visits. And it's 24/7, 365, right? So I've gotten a little bit behind the timeline here. But I will say this. I did some reviewing and looking up, courtesy of someone who sent us some very, very good information. The amount of 5-stars that we're on and will be on and are expected, not hopeful, but the amount of 5-stars that are expected to be committed to the University of Miami within the next 60 days is like nothing we have ever seen here, ever. Not never. Like it's ridiculous. And a lot of you are wondering, Mario, look, this is, I wouldn't say the reason, but I'll say this is the reason. This is the reason you hired him. Because if there's anyone who can keep kids home and anyone who can pitch to get kids to come here, he was talking about, the 2000 team, the 21 team, right? I mean, they went across the offensive line and you had all 5 guys. Nobody was from Florida on the O-line. Your quarterback was from California. So you have the ability to go national for specific needs and spots, but more the ability to win the state of Miami again. That's why he's here. And you're seeing this. It's stupid. Like they went we went 5-7 and looked worse than the record indicated. And he's still going to be able to do this coming off of the 23 class, which finished 7th in the country, which was Miami's top class ever, apparently. This is going to get fun again in a hurry with these recruits. We have to deal with the portal, but I'm excited. I'm more excited about recruiting than I've been in 10 years.
Apparently, having Jason Taylor as a D-line coach means you just automatically get to be top 3 in every 5-star D-line.
Did you see that?
Recruit. I mean, there's like, I don't know how many 5-star D linemen there are, but there's at least like 6 of them that have us in their top 2. Like there can't be that many more D linemen.
That's what I was thinking to myself. Like, how many 5-star D linemen are there? Every one of them is considering Miami very, very highly.
So I was wondering why JT seems to be doing so well right out of the gate in terms of recruiting, which I think a lot of folks, you can just, some folks are natural, but he really is nailing this. And one of my thoughts was how many, all right, so I always think about the parents of these recruits and the age that they are, okay? So how many moms out there, right, of 4- and 5-star recruits right now could name any NFL defensive lineman from 15 years ago? They can name one because he's like a model. He was on cover of, magazines and stuff. Like he was on Dancing with the Stars. Like he transcended that. Like he was, I never quite had that personality, that crazy outgoing personality to keep the TV gig going. I think this is much more suited his way. But like he had that, they know. So they all loved him. So you get that positive. Mom and dads love him. The dads love him because he was a Hall of Famer, and the moms love him because it was Jason Taylor. He's like the one football player that looked, he had a great looking ass. That's gonna come back and bite me.
Yeah, that's nice.
I'm gonna accept that.
Nice. I mean, now we know. Now we know what you think. But that's true. I mean, he is more than any other position on the team. As far as the recruiting is going, that's where really the creme de la creme is falling and landing. The defensive front that this class is going to bring in, I mean, likes of the great ones back in the day as far as classes go for that position group. I mean, and look, there's so much talk, and I think Kevin Beard will be very well recognized after this class for sure. I think he's going to potentially flip one or two and get kids to stay home. I think our biggest concern, is quarterback. I mean, they say that
quarterback.
Yeah. Courteur, the guy who throws the ball, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that our lack of an elite kid right now I think is hurting to an extent. But I mean, look, it's not as though he can't recruit them. I think he'll be fine. That's a little late to the party.
Well, I think you know why, because look at the offense that you're building off of. 19 points a game against Power 5 last year. Wasn't that the number? It was absolutely anemic and awful. So what you got to show something. Listen, I think that's why you could absolutely see a quarterback flip later on in the fall. But I think a lot of them are like, you got to show me something first. You got to show me an offense that I'm going to want to play in, because Mario was preaching about this being a fun offense with Gaddis, and that friggin' thing was a turd bomb. So, well, listen, you brought up the defense. You got to also listen. He's remade the linebacker room. You get the kid from Pruitt that just comes in, but he has remade that linebacker room. They are physically bigger, stronger, like linebackers like we haven't had in a long ass time.
They will look different
from a profile.
They will look different, and it'll look like an entirely different position group.
I'm hearing that in terms of NIL, they have allotted the most NIL money in this class for defensive line and cornerback, DB.
Corner, DB.
But that they still will have enough NIL money to satisfy the other position guys that they're going for that are going to need it, like a wide receiver or quarterback or running back. So the guys they're targeting, they know what that need will be, and they have. So basically, apparently, NIL is not going to be an issue. Unless it's a big time guy that decides, hey, you know what? I want 7 figures now.
Well, is it
8 figures?
Do you feel as though, I was thinking about this early, do you feel as though maybe it's just less forefront, right? So you still have the NIL, obviously. It's still a part of everything that's going on. But is it just as though it's kind of slowed down a little bit? It's more in the background a little. It's still there, but it's just not quite as in your face.
I think the media coverage is just because it's less new. But I think it's just part of the whole package, same as recruiting always was. You got the whole package of, how good is the team? How do you like the coaches? How are the academics? How's the location? How's the game day experience? How's the NIL is just the next piece of that. It all goes together. I think it's getting blown up a little less now because it's not as new. I don't think teams are letting numbers leak out maybe like they were before to certain players. I think that was kind of realized to be maybe not the best to have everybody finding out what you're paying for these. I think it's all part of the sequence to getting guys, though. You still have to have the NIL for some guys. Some guys will value that more than other things. Some guys that may not be what they're looking at the most. But if you're looking to get a full class of studs, you're probably going to need that, yeah.
I think that and I have no information on this, but I get a feeling that there has been a bit of a price correction, a market adjustment in the initial. Listen, like everything that's new, it's just prices are going up. And I think when we got to the point that when we were hearing $8 million for 4 years for a quarterback with a kid from, what was it, Tennessee or whatever, I think that, I think there's been a significant price correction.
What about that $13 million check that bounced up north?
Right. Well, exactly. That also, and think about this. John Ruiz, he said that he was in a conference room with the NCAA for like a couple of days. And when that whole thing was done, all they came back with was the deal with women's basketball and the Cavender twins and the impermissible dinner. But they went through all of his NIL deals, dude, which are in the hundreds. And he has been huge on its actual licensing, and they're doing commercials and work, so there's a return on investment, this and that. And I think it kind of set the stage where you need to be able to show that there is, you can't just be paying, this has to be a marketing deal. This can't just be a bag of cash thrown at a kid. And I think to be able to have the books equate to that without you getting in trouble, folks realize, like, bro, I can't pay you $50,000 for a Twitter mention when you only have 7,500 followers.
Yeah, I think it's almost like it's self-regulated itself, right? There's been because there's still no governing body necessarily that's going to institute any sort of regulation for it. It's still the Wild
It's pretty much
West.
all state by state. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Wild West. But I think that, like you said, I mean, the people with the money at some point regulate things, right? You can't. I mean, these are businessmen, right? That have this money, and the reality is that at the end of the day, just kind of like in the business, how they see it is how it goes. What they say is how it goes, right? These are smart dudes and women, I'm sure, right? That are saying, okay, let's take a look, let's look around, let's get a picture of the entire landscape, and then we'll kind of come down and to the nuts and bolts of it. And I think that number, like you said, it peaked and got out of hand with Rashada last year. And then it's really it's gotten quiet, which is what I originally brought up. But I think that it's regulating itself, which we anticipated that it would. I mean, it has to, right? It can't, I mean, they're still kids, so they should make their money. But yeah, I think you're right. I think that it's but doing it on its own is pretty cool. And Rosenhaus said the same thing, right? He said, I don't know how we'll do it, but eventually it'll get done. Let me ask you a question. Do you see a situation like what happened at A&M last year? Right?
What was the number on
Miami
that?
or just in general?
What was the number on that
Well,
class?
they paid. I'm not saying the number. The number was 30-ish. I mean, that's what
was
they
it 30? It was something like that, right? Yeah.
But
okay. Yeah.
they got all of these 5 stars.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the portal opened, they had the most entries in the country. That scares me a little bit.
I mean, there's got to be.
You don't know?
If I'm a millionaire throwing that kind of cash around, there's going to be something in that contract. There has to be, but it can't be based on at being at the school. So so I don't know.
I think as you go along, people will get smarter about how they write the contracts so that they basically protect themselves against that. But I don't know.
And we don't know
kids
the
your
what they want to do. So
your first NIL deal at Wofford was for like what, $750,000, right?
I'm working right now to get a NIL deal for the golf team there. Get $6 a semester for these guys so they can get extra
Happy
block
Meal.
on their Chipotle.
Nice. You're right. I mean, if anyone can bring home a class like this, but now, I mean, the expectations have been set, and if you fall short, I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, we got a little question in the live chat right now, actually. It's not exactly recruiting, but this kind of changes the focus. But y'all think Miami's a better fit in the SEC or the Big Ten right now?
Not even close. Big Ten all day.
Big Ten, easy.
All day. Just got their AAU accreditation, 100%.
Yeah.
Only thing they don't fit with the Big Ten is that they're small and private.
Yeah, but USC's going to the Big Ten. That's what I said.
Right.
If we can go to the Big Ten and we can play USC every year in the Big Ten, please.
Northwestern, though, aren't they private?
Yeah, they're in.
Are they private?
But if every year, no, I don't think is Northwestern private. I thought
I don't know.
Not sure.
I
It's small. I know it's a little bit
Small.
smaller. But
Yeah. I mean, you can't have a huge
Listen,
university.
if you have a schedule where every year you're going to have either USC, Ohio State, Michigan, it's nice.
It's nice. I mean, the only
nice.
thing that sucks about it is the weather. But yeah, it's such a better conference. I mean, I don't know, in my opinion. I mean,
you sell that to recruits, though. I mean, yeah, they can come play at Miami, but they might get drafted by Buffalo. You got to get used to it somewhere. So
it's true. That's true.
It's true.
You can play well in Buffalo. Yeah, it's Mormon. Think about that. All pro. How many times do you all pro kicking in Buffalo? I was going to ask him, that's like kicking a brick in Buffalo, right?
Has to be. Yeah.
I mean, holy hell.
You got to think if he numbs his foot first.
I was going to ask him, You ever tried barefoot?
They have the special teams balls. Do you think they keep those heated?
I don't know if they can do anything to the
That's a
ball.
good question. Are they able to
I don't
do
know.
that?
I have no
Probably
idea. That's
not,
actually
right?
a good
Because then
honest question.
you can't, if it's
That'd
a
be illegal,
different, totally, right?
Patriots
Because
are
if it's a
doing
different temperature, maybe it flies further, whatever, and not the balls
Oh,
on
for sure.
the sideline are different.
Well, and if you keep it really warm and it's really chilly, all of a sudden you take it out in the field, all of a sudden get some condensation, all of a sudden it gets a little slick, and then harder to kick. You
harder
know,
to catch the snap.
Harder to
harder to catch as
right.
well, harder to everything.
They're not going to do that for the placeholder.
No,
You get a Romo.
this is why long snappers have such long careers.
I know.
They can handle all that shit.
That's right.
I mean,
All right,
it seems like an easy gig.
long snapper.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not difficult. It's right up. I mean, it's probably the easiest gig on the team.
I don't know though. You got to run down and cover punts, being like, no offense, but maybe not.
But what are you doing,
athlete,
though?
bro? You gotta run. You gotta sprint 4 times a game.
Yeah, but you got like real athletes there trying to take you out.
No one's expecting
Yeah,
you
I
to
was
be the
going to
first
say, no
one
one
down.
thinks you're going to, well, no one thinks you're going to make the tackle either. I'm not really sure why they released, to be honest with you.
Because apparently Miami doesn't put anybody there to block them. So,
But even in the
Yes, yeah, that's-
NFL, I mean, these are 15-year-long gigs. It's phenomenal.
I think the guy in the Panthers is like 40 now. Not even kidding.
Yeah. The Dolphins had John Denny for 74 years.
Yes. Dr. John Denny.
Ridiculous.
Panthers drafted one in like the 6th round 2 years ago and cut him because the guy that's 40 years old was still too good. So they just cut the guy they drafted.
Seriously? They drafted him and cut him.
They drafted a guy who didn't even make the team. They ended up cutting him. Yeah.
Now, see, that's just like,
J.J. Jansen, man. He's the GOAT. I think he's a golfer too. So
yeah.
if he's watching,
I think that you just can't make that draft pick. I understand if you, I get it, but you can't do that.
No, bro. You should never draft a long snapper or a kicker.
You can draft
or
a kicker.
a punter. I believe those are. I believe kicker and punters can all be found on undrafted free agents. Dude, there's so many. I mean, you just got to go search. You can find a kid. You can find kids with legs.
I don't know, man. Aguayo was can't miss.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah. When was Vinatieri? Was he even drafted?
Janikowski.
No, well, no.
He went
Janikowski was one that paid off. First round pick. He had a great career. Yeah, but I'm saying that Vinatieri is the all-time great kicker. I don't even think he was drafted.
He might not have drafted. Yeah, I don't know.
I know there was a half-foot guy back in the day with the Saints.
He kicked it straight on.
They wouldn't even let him kick now because they would say it's an unfair advantage. He'd get protested in this day and age. Fucking insane.
Protested for having
an advantage on his half
a club foot. Have you seen? Oh my God, it's 100%.
You know it's true.
It's 100%
You're totally getting
true.
protested.
Have you seen Rahm's foot? How much of a club foot is that thing?
I don't know. He's got big feet, though. I'll tell you that. I don't know what size shoe he wears, but
big feet. Well, he's got, his like right. I think his right foot is like, I don't think it's a club foot, but it's like a thing.
Yeah, no, I've seen him like talk about it. I don't know.
Doesn't seem to be impacting his golf
that's
game
why
at all.
he said that's why he swings how he swings. That's what he said, but I don't really know.
I don't know.
How social are you guys outside of rounds? Like in between, like when the round ends, how long do you guys hang out in the clubhouse and chill?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on who it is.
Yeah.
Like if I'm hanging with some of my boys, we'll be talking at lunch or something, but depends on who it is.
Who are your boys? I mean, I know you've been playing with Rory a
Like
lot
the
lately.
Sea Island guys. Like,
I got you.
guys I got here. Like, I mean, Ben Griffin, I play with a ton around here. Davis Thompson, Will Gordon. Like, if they're there, we'll sit down and talk or whatever.
Okay.
Hey, would you shoot? How to go out there, stuff like that, but nothing too crazy.
All right. How do you feel, guys, about the Miami Hurricanes facing 3 ESPN top defenses this year?
offense.
Texas A&M, Clemson, and FSU.
Wait, top what? Top 10?
ESPN has forecasted preseason. These are 3 of the top 10 defenses in college football. They ranked them, and TAMU, Clemson, FSU all made the top 10. We are playing all 3 of them. We're playing 1 of them on the road and 2 at home.
Yeah, 2 at home. Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean,
those are the 3 losses everyone's expecting, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Or
but
no?
you gotta.
I think
there's a lot of people that think we're going to beat Florida State this year. I'm just so confused by them. So I don't know. I mean, people really think that they have a top 10 defense in the country.
Yeah. ESPN, who thought the Heat had a 3% chance to beat the Celtics.
And there you have it.
who's on Florida State's defense?
Couldn't tell you.
Verse, is he still there? Or he turned pro?
Who?
I don't even know.
No, he stayed.
Jared Verse?
He
He
stayed.
stayed? Okay.
Yeah.
He's good. I mean, he's legit. I know that.
He is legit.
I really don't know a whole lot. I know Clemson's got a great D-line. I think Texas A&M's got a great D-line. I'm guessing Florida State, if they got him, they've probably got a pretty solid D-line. I mean, I don't know. Buddy games.
Who else they have?
Let's see it.
Have any safeties? Have any corners?
One of their
couldn't name anybody.
safeties. One of their safeties, the Panthers just drafted. I know that Jamie Robinson. So I know he's gone. But
They get talented guys. They got talented guys on the roster.
they've been hitting the portal. I mean, that's kind of where
They've
they've
been
been
hitting the portal
pulling
hard. They had a great
And-
portal class.
So,
So Clemson and then
They got one of our
A&M?
guys.
They did. That's right.
A&M has all the studs that they recruited that didn't leave yet.
The ones that didn't leave, right? But they're not
Well,
going
you
to.
got to wonder.
They're going to be much better than they were last year.
Well, but you got to wonder. This
I think
has
their
got to
defense can be
be
strong. I have no idea what their offense is going to look like because their offense was all it was A-Chain and the wide receiver, the other guy. Like that
Well,
was
this is
their
a big
whole
Jimbo
offense. And they're-
I can't believe he still has
Yeah.
a job.
like he could get fired after this year if shit goes bad again.
I
They'll
thought
buy
he
his
was
ass out.
getting the hook last year.
That's too much money on the table.
I know.
You don't want to be like FSU and have like 60 million right now out going to coaches that are no longer
That
coaching.
no longer coach, right?
You're broke. Fuckers can't afford urinals.
I mean,
Had to get state funding.
Taggart got fired from FAU for God's sake.
Yeah.
FSU's still paying him.
Uh-huh.
Slick Willie, he down here living it up in Boca.
I'm intrigued by that team. I want to see how Tom Herman does.
Yeah.
But
That's an interesting gig for him.
well, he had a couple years as an analyst.
do we play them anytime soon?
Mm-mm.
Next few years? No.
Nothing for us to gain playing that fucking team or FIU.
All kinds
learned
of
our
stuff for us to
played-
lose, though.
We played
We've learned our
we
lesson.
played both of them in road games in like
Listen.
the last 5 years or 10 years.
We'll play FAU in basketball, okay? It'll sell out to Sunrise. We'll have a fun.
Sure.
That'll be a fun basketball game.
That would have been awesome finals, too.
Yes, it would have been.
Right?
Not quite. I mean, I think the finals the way it was pretty fucking spectacular.
No, I don't really care what you think about that, but I think that that would have been fun. That would have been
Would have
fun.
been.
Miami and
Would have
FAU.
Oh, and FAU brings back everybody. Miami's pretty much bringing back everybody. Both of them are preseason top 5. Like if they could both meet there again. So
That's crazy.
fucking nuts. Yeah. Like those two teams are going to have great runs to the Final Four again. They could each do back-to-back runs. So
Nova have any shot of beating either one of them?
no.
Nova?
No.
Yeah,
Nova
Nova Southeastern down here. They went
undefeated.
Oh,
won the
Won
national
Division II
championship.
It'd be a good game.
They average over 100 a game.
They played a style of offense.
I promise you there are D1 teams they could beat.
Oh, absolutely. But dude, they played an
yeah,
offense
no.
that was like the air raid. It was the most ridiculous thing to watch. Like they were scoring like every 10 seconds. It was insane.
That's so fun.
Fucking nuts.
I didn't watch a single game of that. I wish I would have.
I watched the final game.
And they, the other team that they beat in the finals.
That's
Also
where the coach used to be.
Also averaged 100 a game, though.
That's where Nova's coach was. They stole him over.
Stop it.
Yes. They took him. They went out and plucked his ass.
Oh my god!
They got an NIL deal. Ruiz went up there and bought him for Nova.
That's unbelievable.
All right. So last time you were on, Novak, I think I was talking about how I was starting to get all excited and drinking the Kool-Aid, and I was like, dude, this is gonna 5-7 was an aberration. I'm geeked up. We're gonna have a good year. Like, 9-3, 10-2. I'm now trending closer to 7-5 again.
Oh my God! Here we go. Here we go again with you.
You don't go through this during the off season?
It's the off season. You gotta fill it with something.
Yeah. What the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm trending more towards 7-5 now.
I made myself laugh there. My apologies.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I can't do it yet. I'm excited. I'm excited to see the freshmen on campus. I'm excited to see Dawson run this offense. I'm excited to see Guidry out there confusing everybody. I'm excited. I'm drinking the excitement Kool-Aid, but I can't give predictions yet.
All right.
I can't do it.
Novak, how you feel?
I can't. I mean, I'm not going to do predictions really yet, but I am excited to watch football games that will be watchable. And that's pretty much with Dawson running that style of offense, Guidry doing what he's doing on defense, the games will be fun to watch. Like, it's not just going to hurt throwing the game on and just being like, all right, that's a punt. That's a punt. That's a punt. Like, there will be progress down the field and points on the board probably. And I'm excited to actually, see some highlights, some plays go for, 15 plus yards, 20 plus yards.
If you guys were given the opportunity to make a sizable wager of your own money on the following bet, would you or would you not? Will there be a single game next season where during the second half we're saying fuckers have quit? Because it happened at least twice last year.
How many of the last 20 years do you think that's happened? Would you say
Did we just quit?
that you could say that statement?
Oh, it's happened. It's happened.
I would
The Al
say,
Golden Clemson game. I mean, it's happened.
I would say more than probably half of the last 20 years. There's
Is it
been
half the games they've quit on them.
No, not, but more than half the seasons, there's been a game.
Absolutely, 100%. 100%.
That's what I'm saying.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah. There's been at least one or two games every year.
More than
yeah.
half the games. No, I'll give them the credit.
Jesus, Novak.
But at some point in time in the season,
yeah,
there's been a slide or there's been something. Yeah. If we can show up, you singled out 3 games earlier: A&M, Clemson, Florida State. It's only Mario's second year. You don't have to win all of them. If you win them, great. But just don't get 45-3. Don't get just
That was
keep
bad.
it competitive.
That was
well, but you can't lose to Miami of Ohio either.
No, right. But I'm saying, yes, don't quit those games either. Beat the teams you got to beat. But keep it competitive with those teams. Don't give up. Fight till the end. Stay in at the fourth quarter. That would be a huge step, especially towards proving the culture that Mario's trying to build, that he keeps saying he's trying to instill in offense.
Yeah, I think it really does come down to the players in that aspect as well, right? I mean, the coaching staff has to provide them with the ability schematically to compete with whoever. But then it really does fall on the kids. And are they policing themselves? Are they holding themselves accountable? It needs to be a player-run team. for all intents and purposes, right? Because the coaches can only do so much. They can put you in a position to do it. But are the kids that are being brought in Mario's guys, right? The whole team is Mario's guys now. We've said this. Like, it's, you know, you still need 2 to 3 full cycles of Mario's guys, because you may have your first level, the first layer of the cake, so to speak, is his guys. And the second and third layers of the cake, maybe they're his guys, but the reality is they should be like the 4th and 5th layers. So he's got to have those full cycles to be able to create that depth of championship kids that are also championship players to be able to put this whole thing together the way he wants, because the kids have to do it themselves.
So before we take a quick break, we got a shitload of stuff we got to talk about. But 2024 College Football Hall of Fame ballot, 78 players are on it, and we got some Canes. The late great Jerome Brown, Darren Smith, Ken Dorsey, along with Larry Coker, and then you got Warwick Dunn and Peter Warwick. Of course, anytime this happens, and listen, not to disparage Larry Coker in any way, a wonderful man, and if they believe that he's worthy to be elected to the Hall of Fame, great. But how can you say Larry Coker can be on the Hall of Fame ballot, but Howard Schnellenberger cannot? Like, I don't understand it, man.
Terrible technicality. That's all it is.
Fucking bullshit.
What's the real technicality? What's the technicality?
His winning percentage.
You have to have over a 500 winning percentage, but because he started the program at
FAU
Louisville,
and
didn't he do it
and
at
Louisville.
So he started 2 separate programs from scratch, which, of course, all you're going to do is lose for a season or 2 until you get established. He's just under the 500 threshold, even though he built those programs into, successful.
And that's a hard cap. There's
Yes. He can't get nominated since he's not above 500 for his lifetime, despite having national championships, despite
that's crazy.
All he's done.
Crazy.
It's insane. It's insane.
Crazy.
Like, what he did for football just at 3 different universities is ridiculous. It didn't
even have anything to do with wins and losses. Like, what he did to
build the game.
Right. I mean, like you said, Larry, nice guy, but goes back to the conversation I was just talking about. That was a player-run team.
Yes, 100%.
They were
they hired him.
Thrilled he got the job.
They hired him
because they knew that they could control whatever they wanted to control, and it wouldn't matter.
All right, so let me ask you this, because it's tough to have really love a player on a rival. But if I was ever going to pick my favorite FSU player, it is Warwick Dunn. Just for on the field, off the field.
100%.
I've met him.
100%.
I played with him.
Great guy.
At Valspar, in Tampa. He was there in the pro-am. I played with him, got paired with him. He's awesome. He, like, what he's doing down there, building the houses and stuff, he's impressive.
So how quickly did you bring up the Canes with him? Like hole 1 or?
We were talking like probably like the second hole. Because not only, so he went to FSU, he also played for the Falcons
and the Bucks
and the Buccaneers, and I'm a Panthers fan. So all he did was play against rival teams. Mm-hmm. So I was giving him a hard time for that. But he was great, fantastic, like really one of the coolest guys that I've gotten to play with. So
yeah, it's a great human.
I put him up there.
Yeah, great human. I mean, it's easily. I mean, the three of us, I'm pretty sure that he's Rose's favorite as well. How can he not be?
Has to be.
He is tiny now too, by the way.
He was never big, but yeah. Like,
right,
how tall is he?
It's crazy to think that 5'9", maybe. Like,
wow.
Not tall.
We got to take a break. We still have to get to baseball fire the head coach. Got to see what's going on there. We got to talk to Novak with some actual golf stuff. We got 5 questions, and also why your penis may curve as you get older. All of that is going to be coming up. But first, we got to talk about our friends. And we start, of course, with Ed Morris and edmorris.com. And, bro, Teddy Morris is just got the pedal down on expansion.
Bro, he just
if you're in
bought
Colorado,
Grand Junction.
yeah, if you're in Colorado, I don't know where Grand Junction is, but you got a Harley Davidson now and a Grand Junction Power Sports. So for your off-roading needs, for your Harley Davidson needs, Teddy Morse's Grand Junction Harley Davidson, Grand Junction Power Sports. And then if you want 4 wheels, no problem. You're outside of Chicago, you got a Chevrolet GMC Ed Morse in Kewanee, Illinois, and now an Ed Morse Ford in Geneseo, Illinois. Dude, he's just everywhere.
He's building a conglomerate of Ed Morse and the Harley dealerships. The one in Grand Junction is, again, just like Daytona, Teddy Morse's Harley Davidson.
You know, there's 2 in Daytona.
What?
He's got both of them. He's got 2 in Daytona.
Oh. Well,
yeah,
of course.
Yeah. He bought both the Harley Davidsons in Daytona. Yeah.
Well,
Let's go, Ted.
As he should.
So there you go. EdMorse.com, price protection promise. Make sure you tell him about the OBBs. Novak, where do you fall on grooming your genitalia?
Maddie is in the other room watching the live stream.
Oh.
That's right.
Maddie, where does he fall on grooming his genitalia? Does it need work? Do we need to get you the?
She's not coming through the door. She's not.
The performance package 4.0. Yeah, the performance package for there's a delay on the stream.
She'll come in.
Speaking of which, what happened to the beard?
I shaved it.
I see that.
I got the beard trimmer. Shaved it.
Were you using using the lawnmower when you had the beard for Manscaped?
I was using nothing when I had the beard. It took everything I had to get that thing out like this. I mean, it was like 3 months worth of effort to get like half an inch of beard.
If Maddie fills us in that you need help down, it's Father's Day this weekend, by the way, and I don't think it's too late. Even if you look, I'm guilty of this. Even if you order something too late, just print out the picture and put it in a box. So they can open the box and they can see that you got him the trimmers, the lawnmower 4.0, and you know that you get 20% off OBB.
Yeah, promo code OBB.
Get 20% off.
Yeah. So just get in the performance package 4.0. It's got the clippers, the nose trimmer, the reviver, and the preserver. Both of those are for his testicles. They both need to be revived and then preserved. Start treating your testicles like you'd want to be treated yourself. You've ignored them for 30, 40, 50 years. Beating the bookie takes care of his testicles. He's reviving them. He's preserving them.
He's probably reviving them with the money he's making with hockey, which is now over. Oh, they gave it a good run. They beat those sorry-ass Hurricanes up in Carolina.
Yeah, they did.
I know that.
Yeah, they did.
I know that. So that was a good
run. He had a broken sternum.
Broken sternum.
Dude, Kachuk broke his collarbone in Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals.
We're talking about Bobrovsky and that BS that he pulled against Carolina.
How would the BS Aiden Hill pulled?
Not like all game, every game.
Yeah.
Like, what a jerk.
How does that man go from saving 120-something shots in a row and giving up 9 goals the next year? I mean,
did you watch him while during his career in Florida, bro? He had a hot streak. That's what the 9 goals is what he's been for the last 3 years.
I mean, Carolina was so far and away the better team. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, fucking cry me a river.
Don't give me.
Oh, stop.
You got swept every game.
Swept 4-0.
Expected goals every game. Higher expected goals every single game, and they lost every single game.
I will tell you this.
Listen, it gave you the opportunity to play golf with them more.
I'm not in the Raleigh event this year. That's Corn Ferry. Pass that. I'll do that.
You should just be playing with them on the side.
They're in Raleigh. I'm in Canada, so I was busy.
Canada?
I'm in a different country.
Well, last week I was.
Where are you right now?
Oh, I'm home right now.
Okay.
So hold on a second. What I was going to say, and we'll get back to beating the bookie, Vegas was so much better than Florida. Like,
Oh my God, yes, yeah, they were.
Oh yeah,
Like,
because
not
it was
even-
supposed to be Carolina and Vegas. Obviously,
they're
Carolina's the better
so
team.
much better than
Simple.
Carolina.
It was supposed to be Boston and
I
Vegas.
do
True.
think Vegas
That's
was.
true.
Yeah, I do think Vegas was probably going to be tough to beat for anybody.
They're so, I mean,
Outside of
so crisp.
Boston
So,
went
like,
down,
they're-
but, yeah.
that's a stupid team.
They
Anyway,
put on a show.
They did. Beatingthebookie.com
Yeah.
is where you get your packages. And if you listen early enough tomorrow morning, Thursday morning, if this is Thursday morning and you're listening, you can still get in for the U.S. Open this week. So beatingthebookie.com, follow them on Twitter, Instagram, TikToker, at beatingthebookie. Get your free plays there. Tell them the OBB sent you. Make you some money. Let's go. Second
Get
half
to
of
US
baseball
Open
coming up.
soon. All the guys I've talked to say it's going to be a fun week. So I can't give tips. That's very much against the rules, but it's going to be a fun week over.
I'm excited to watch 15. I saw Ricky talk about how if they put the pin up front, he was going to lay up. It's an 80-yard hole.
Yep.
I find that
Smart.
mesmerizing. I mean, that like they
Have you
need
seen the
more of
green?
that. Yeah. They need more of that.
Yeah.
I need more 100-yard par threes that are just kind of stupid. Right? I mean, think about it. You got 7 at Pebble, depending on the conditions, right? It's it's a gap wedge or it's a 5-iron. And you've
Not
got
many
this
places
one.
in the world with that real estate, though.
No, but I'm saying I'm not saying the real estate itself, but you have short par threes. This one is literally, 80. I think they said 78 with one of the placements. I mean, come on.
that'll be one day, but it's still sitting. 125 is where it's probably going to be sitting at usually. And yeah, it's fun. It's fun to watch. It's fun to play. Makes it seem attainable, or at least a little bit more attainable than a 280-yard par 3 or whatever else they got going. So.
Right. Yeah, they got one from 290, right? I mean, think about that. They got one from 80 and one from 290. And then the rough, that's what we were going to talk about. So the fairways, I think, are a little bit wider than typical as far as U.S. Open goes,
but
right?
I don't know if they'll necessarily play. There are some spots where it's like, the fairway's 50 yards wide, but if you're in the right 20 yards of it, it just straight rolls off the fairway downhill.
Right.
So, and then you saw what the rough looks like. So good luck.
So is that rough? Is it like that all the way around? Is it fairway side too, or is it only?
It depends. Like some holes, and from what I saw, it looked like it's kind of Bermuda, so it'll be kind of weird. Sometimes it'll like the Bermuda when it's sunny out can kind of crisp up and it'll sit on top a little bit more. But then sometimes if it has enough weight to it, it'll just drop straight to the bottom, and it's almost impossible to get to. So,
Would you? I
Could
mean,
be a
it's
little
so
bit
hard
longer.
if it's sitting up though too. How hard it is to. I mean, you could. There's issues with that, especially with
getting
how
the
deep
spin
that
right,
is.
though, yeah.
It's going to be a disaster.
Till the spin. It's You don't want
I
to
can't
miss.
wait.
So
It's
you
going to
also
be a
did. You don't
mess.
wanna miss first.
Even par.
It's going to be awesome.
Even par wins it.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
I'd have to see the wind forecast on it. Also, I can't legally answer that.
I don't
question, so.
even mess with that. That's too wishy-washy.
All right, let's get into Canes baseball. They fired Gino DiMaria. Well, Gino got to resign. I've been told he was allowed to resign out of reverence for the family and his 20-year run with the university. So we bid him a fond adieu. He went 168 and 86 over 5 years, though one of those was the COVID year. 79 and 49 in the conference. Regionals in all 4 of those years, never made it to the supers, and had no head coaching experience prior, had been just a long-time assistant. So how do you guys feel about that? He got the extension last year. Obviously, Rad didn't feel that we were getting where we needed to be and pulled the trigger.
I mean, I find it interesting that you give him the extension, and then we know about how about how Rad feels about the baseball, right? It's somebody ends up winning it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody gets hot, somebody ends up winning it. Were his words, and that really is kind of how college baseball is. So you give him the extension 1 year, and then the next year you give him the opportunity to leave. It's obviously a disappointment that they didn't get to the Supers. They were the 1 seed. They were 9 overall seed. Yeah, I mean, I get it, but the reality is, we talked about this last week. This staff doesn't have the goods, man. So it's like, your bats can be great, and their bats were better than they have been, but they had no arms to get deep enough. So it's, I don't know. I'm surprised. Let's put it that way. I'm a little surprised by them asking him to leave a year after the extension, because it's not like they won 40 games or 42 games, whatever it was. So it's not like they had a piss poor year. They had a quality year. They just didn't get out of the regional. So look, I don't. Are there hot? Are there guys out there that are, the next great baseball manager for college? Is that a thing?
Well, so the list. Go ahead, Novak.
College, it's just so weird because, like, especially with recruiting, like, you have to develop the players, because with recruiting, there's no 5 stars. 5 stars get drafted, so you have to, like, recruit the good players that aren't quite good enough, kind of thing. Like, I feel like it's just walking a very fine line there, who you get. So a lot of it comes down to developing your guys. I don't know why the starting pitching for, I don't know how many years now. It's been at least probably 3 years now. That's been kind of like the hiccup. It seems like every year Miami has a closer that's a beast. It's been like that for a while. They always have a closer, but the starting pitching is the problem. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but yeah, I mean, the bats, if you hit like that, you should be able to probably, make up for it. But yeah, the starting pitching definitely needed to be fixed.
Blake Sear, freshman All-American. Congratulations to him. So here's what we got from names that we're seeing thrown out there. I know we've talked about him before. Lovelady, he's got 2 rings. You can't hire the guy that just got let go from UCF after a 7-year stint where he only went to the regionals his first year. Listen, I love Lovelady. And after what he did at Wright State his first 3 years, I legit thought he was going to be a future head coach of the Miami Hurricanes. But UCF just didn't go the way I think a lot of us thought it was going to go. And they let him go. You can't hire their cast off. JD Arteaga, current pitching coach, is going to be interviewing. You can't go there. We were talking about the pitching is a mess. That can't be the solution to this. And I want someone that has head coaching experience. So that means the little glamour name of Troy Tulowitzki, I guess, who's been working with Texas the last couple of years. There's mutual interest. Yeah, great, Troy. Loved you as a player, but I want experience and a head coach. So the 3 names were Tom Walter of Wake Forest, and I don't think you're paying money to take away Wake Forest as head coach. Chris Pollard at Duke. I'm kind of leaning towards, and someone's mentioned in the chat, former Kane assistant and present Gamecocks head coach Mark Kingston. I want someone with experience.
That's my buddy. He's a Gamecock. Gamecock. So yeah.
Oh, he's your buddy?
Yeah.
So how is he?
As a coach?
Yes. You think he'd be a great coach? You think he'd be a great fit down here? You think he would?
I have no idea. I haven't watched much South Carolina baseball. I know they had a very odd season this year.
Mm-hmm.
They were super hot, and then super cold, and then I want to say in the regional they scored more runs in the entire regional than they did the entire month of May before that or something. There's some absurd stat I saw some people retweeting in 4 games. I don't know. So I'm not sure. I don't know what that means for the team, but they definitely had good baseball teams there in the past. So it's intriguing.
I think, I think the Wake coach is interesting because they're a very similar. He's in a very similar situation. Small, I don't know if Wake is private. I think they are.
I think they are. Yeah.
It's a very similar type school as far as academics and things of that nature. So I find that appealing. I don't necessarily think, and I'm not really sure why you're so hung up on the fact that it's got to be a guy who's already had head coaching experience.
Because I think we need somebody that can build something and develop pitching and just has a track record. I mean, dude, I just don't think Miami for football, basketball, or baseball is a learn-on-the-job gig. I think it's achieved a level where you got to, like, we've won national titles here. You got to, this is where you win. You don't learn to win here. You win here. I don't know, man.
I believe that I believe that as a baseball player, that you learn and have the ability to be a manager better than any other sport that you were a player in. Hockey, maybe, but I think baseball is probably the top of that list, where you learn so many things about the game as you progress to a level of where you're, a major league player or, a minor league player, whatever the situation is. Your ability to manage and coach is, for the most part, if you're a decent communicator, it's very innate, right? There's only so many things within baseball that are coachable. It's really about managing relationships. That's why they're called a manager. So I think that they can go the route of not having a head coach, but you need somebody that has extensive experience in the game. I don't know, it's my opinion. I don't think. I mean, Tuligowski.
I do think there's a little bit of style and tactics on a baseball manager. Like Jim Morris, everybody's talked about. He loved the bunt, and team lately has been kind of long ball. So I do think there's like a little bit of how the team looks based on maybe, and that might just come down to the kind of players that you recruit. But I know at Wofford we love running, like always up there. Top 15 in stolen base, top 15 stolen bases in the country, pretty much year in, year out. That's just kind of the team identity. So there's a little bit of that, but yeah, I do agree that as far as being a manager, I mean, coach up your team and then let them go.
Yeah, I mean, you got to manage relationships, big time. Right. I mean, it's really what that gig is about. I mean, think about, being a manager in the majors, right? You're just dealing with people's personalities. It's like a manager in a corporation. You got to know, who to kick in the butt, who you have to coddle, who you can't be too stern with, who you have to be too stern with. It's an interesting. I've always found it a very interesting gig.
All right, let's before we get into 5 questions, we got to talk to Novak a little bit about some golf. Like you guys had the biggest sports story of God, I don't even know how long, but y'all set an earthquake across the sports world with the reported, I don't know if it's a merger, a buyout, whatever the hell it is. Talk to us, man. I mean, as a card-carrying member of the PGA Tour, what's your response to all this? What are your feelings?
So officially, I believe they're terming it as a unification, maybe.
Okay.
So they're combining PGA Tour, LIV, and DP World Tour under one umbrella. So basically, the idea was to unify the game of golf, so there's not so much contention between the two tours. There's not so much negativity between that. They want everybody working towards a positive goal of growing the game. That's why the meeting started in the first place. But then, obviously that's going to develop, okay, what's this going to look like? And that still is yet to be determined. It's a framework agreement. But for the PGA Tour's benefit, the litigation stopped. The PGA Tour could not afford to just sink money into a legal battle, which, although was going decently for them, if it drags out 5, 6, 7 years, if they just stall, you just can't compete with the funds. Like, eventually that's just not going to work, especially with the PGA Tour pumping extra money into the elevated stuff to keep that going. So that's a good thing, get the court battle done, settled. And I really don't know what it's going to look like going forward. I don't think that you're going to see like LIV guys playing PGA Tour events in the near future. I think that's a good ways out. And even if it does happen, I think there'll be definitely some sort of process that they'll have to go through before they can do that. But yeah, I'll be interested to see. I think probably 6 months from now, 12 months from now, things will start looking a little bit different. It's definitely for this year. You're not really going to see anything because seasons are going to be played out normally. They're doing their thing, we're doing our thing, and honestly, if decisions are made at the end of that, you're not really going to see too many big changes for 2024 either, because they'll have to have those schedules set both for LIV and for us. Like you set the schedule probably. Honestly, the PGA Tour schedule is probably coming out like within the next month for next year. So I don't know how many changes they would probably try and be planning on making mid-year then for that. So I think it'll be a while before a whole lot is like looking super different.
I mean, so do you think that they call it a unification? Do you think that LIV as an entity, as a tour, maybe not a tour on its own, but in name, is still around next year? Or are those guys, you think it's still around next year, of next year?
I think Jay has the power to disband it now under their agreement. I don't know if he'll do that. I doubt he would do that because, again, he said he'll get to the end of the year, assess everything. They're already building their schedule for 2024, so they're going to have a schedule. Now he could just straight up disband it, but I doubt he does that because those guys aren't going to be coming over to the PGA Tour, I don't think, based on what he said. But since there is a for-profit entity and he's the CEO of running that and they fall under that, I think it's in his best interest to have those guys playing in something that just seems like good business. So, yeah, I think you allow the LIV tournaments to continue simply because that'll be good for the for-profit entity that umbrellas overall.
Would they be able to qualify for the elevated events for next year, or you don't know?
No, I don't think so. Because when Jay said that he will assess at the end of the year avenues for those players, he will still use the current. So there's the for-profit side, but the non-profit side is the PGA Tour. So the non-profit side, the PGA Tour still has their rules and regulations, which those players have violated. So if they want to come back to the PGA Tour and play those, they will still be, what's the term, like subject to punishment based on what they've done to violate those rules and regulations. And he's basically in charge of setting those penalties. I'm guessing since they've played for 2+ years on that, you could be looking at a 2+ year suspension before they could come back. And if that 2+ year suspension doesn't start until 2025, since the 2024 season's set, I mean, you might not see those guys back for a long time. But
yeah, I didn't consider that at all.
I also could see the argument where if LIV does fold and those guys have nowhere to play, as he's the CEO of the for-profit side, it seems like bad business not to have those guys eligible to play PGA Tour events, because that just, like, why would you not have Brooks Koepka and Dustin Johnson playing tournaments? That just seems like it would drive more profits. So I really don't know what it'll look like, how it'll shake out. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how this goes over the course of next 2-3 years.
I'm fascinated by the reports that You guys will have an equity stake. Each individual player will have an equity stake. How that works out? Do you get bought out if you leave the tour? Do you take that with you? Like, how does that whole thing work? And also, I found it also fascinating that that basically what happened was that changing the tour's financial, but with the bigger events to compete with LIV basically destroyed the business model. Because as I understood it, the PGA Tour had built up $100 million slush fund, and they went through half of it this year for the elevated events. And there's just they were going to run out of money. Was that accurate? It was like $100 million, and they went through almost 50 for the elevated payouts, and they had taken years to build that up.
Well, that was legal fees. They could have gotten away with it without the legal fees. The problem was the legal fees combined with pumping up the elevated events put the tour enough in the red where
because the PIF has unlimited funds, so they can stretch the legal thing out for as long as they want.
I mean, I don't know how much they sank into it, but they could just dig their feet in the ground and and so that's why it needed to end, and that's kind of why the meetings were had. And
So why did they concede though then? Like why did LIV concede
the way Jay explained it to us was basically when they had the meeting, they were talking to the guy about what his goals were with what he was doing, and it wasn't necessarily that he wanted LIV to be the number one golf. And he just wanted to promote golf and grow golf. And so they decided to kind of align their interests then, because that's PGA Tour is interested in that as well. And so they figured that putting everything under one umbrella could actually strengthen if they kind of so-called teamed up.
I think
that was how he explained it to us.
The other side, I think there might be something also to the fact that, Phil has been saying for a while that there's one of the worst things about going to trial, and the reason why things settle before that is because of a thing called discovery. And that neither side wanted to have to open up. And Phil's been saying, dude, there's stuff going on there that none of you guys know about that'll come out when it comes out. And I just think there was just, whatever it was, there was just dirt going on that neither side saw a benefit for having any of it made public. I mean, the PGA Tour is a nonprofit, supposed to be, helping grow the game of golf. It's never had a bad reputation in terms of scandals like that. Like, you don't need to sully something like that.
Did anyone throw tomatoes or a shoe at Jay during the meeting?
No, but there was definitely some anger, some frustration, a few outbursts. Absolutely.
Well, that's the next question. If you were to 50-50, or if you were to bet money, is he still the CEO or commissioner of this deal? Do the players revolt? Is he still here in 12 months?
A lot of guys were frustrated with him. I don't know. I think I'm definitely more towards the side of less anger at him than some. A lot of guys very worked up. Now, that was literally day of, so right. I don't really know. Apparently, we're supposed to have a player meeting at Travelers now. We just got that
Hartford.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll be at that, and I'm sure there'll be some information there, but I'm not sure he'll be at the meeting because I don't know if you saw he had
medical leave of absence.
We've heard nothing about that.
And Greg Norman gave him some bad food.
We have no inside info on that. So, hopefully, at the meeting, maybe we'll find out. Hopefully he's okay. I don't know. I would imagine simply since he's the one that started this framework deal, he's the one that says, look, this is good for y'all. He's the one that kind of knows how it works since he's the one that sat down with him. Obviously, and Jimmy Dunn and Ed Hurley with him. I would like to hope he stays because it seems like not a great time to try and introduce a new CEO, a new guy running the show. It's just that'd be like trying to drink from a fire hose. I feel like trying to just be thrown into that.
Tiger needs a job.
Look, I don't. There are some smart guys.
Here's what I'll say, Novak.
There are some smart guys on tour, but there are a grand total of 0 players that are qualified to be commissioner That was one
I
thing
gotcha.
that a certain guy in the meeting said, like, we need a player to be the commissioner of this and CEO of this. No, that is the last thing you need. Y'all are lucky that golf is working out for you because the real world is spitting us out. So, yeah.
So my whole thing this whole time from a big picture has been, if you believe what Phil and some of the other players like Patrick Reed and stuff said a couple of years ago, that they had approached Jay about, listen, we need to get an off season going, some elevator. Like they wanted to have a conversation that they had a sponsor willing to bring in like $1 billion, and that Jay from this jump wouldn't even have the conversation. And that's what caused, and if that's what caused LIV to happen, then from my standpoint, like, bro, that was malfeasance then. The fact that you wouldn't even meet with your own players who were supposed to be your bosses, and that you let the result of that was this. I don't know how he has any credibility left, with all due respect. I just don't.
I do think he probably should have taken a meeting with them earlier, but also he told us the original deal. So people ask why now. He told us the original deal that LIV came to him and offered when they were starting. It was crap. So I get why he was like, no, y'all are out of here. Basically, they were offering the PGA Tour like one team and 5%. And if he accepts that, then any player can go because we're tying ourselves to them. That was not a good. So I get why he did that at the beginning. But yeah, it's tough, man. Like the biggest issue right now is he's sitting there. He's the one that can kind of see the picture of how it's supposed to look. He did all the meetings. He knows what the framework is. He's looking out for our best interest, but he's sitting there telling us, you just got to trust me. Well, there's been no communication. And so a lot of guys have little to no trust with him right now because there's been no communication. But there couldn't be communication because, like he was saying, when you have deals like this, if stuff starts leaking, it's all going to fall apart. And they had to get it right because we couldn't really afford to keep doing years of legal battle with them. So he was put in a tough spot, and, he has to look out for us, and he made a call that I think he truly believes is the right call for us. But, we just kind of have to sit here and just trust him and hope it works out. And yeah,
I mean, what could, I know this is a strange question, but what could go wrong? Like, I don't see how it's bad really for anyone. I mean, LIV started and it helped grow the purses for the events. Right, so everybody's making more money because LIV started, and then, then they had to restructure some stuff. So they did the elevated stuff, and then Tiger and Roy are coming out with whatever they're coming out with, and the guys on their first year on tour, getting their card, they get a guaranteed $500,000 on draw. Like, all of it changed for the good. So I understand the feeling of being, I wouldn't say betrayed, but being kind of like kept in the dark because you don't know what's going on. And then the tour that you talked so poorly about for 2 years, now all of a sudden you want to be friends with them and you want to work with them and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But as a whole, how could it possibly be bad?
The goalpost moved and it changed so suddenly. Yeah, it's kind of knee jerk. I do think when I sit back and look at like how some of the options going forward, I do absolutely see avenues where this is a great thing. Especially the thing I feel the most comfortable feeling that it's going to be a good thing is just straight up for the game of golf. The fact that there's not the negativity, the two sides butting heads, like, everyone looking to literally just grow the game of golf and not have all this contention between the two tours. I do think that combined with the fact that now we can maybe this molds into more of a world tour or something, maybe more events because the for-profit allows. I don't know, but I could absolutely see expansion of the game, which is definitely a good thing.
Listen, the reason why this whole thing happened is because of the media. Okay, you've got a segment of the media. Listen, 9/11 happened, what now, 22 years ago. I remember watching it on TV. Since that time, if you knew the number of companies the PIF has invested in, Uber, half the title sponsors on the PGA Tour have PIF investment in them. All right? The reason why this turned into a thing is because of Jamal Khashoggi. They totally assassinated a member of the media, and now all the members of the media will for always be into throughout the sports washing. Dude, they bought Newcastle United. None of those players are being called accused of being sports washers. It's a whole freaking soccer team that with that investment are making the Champions League now. Like, so there was a lot, like, dude, we were in this because of guys like Brandel Chambly, all right, that had to go ahead and go to the lowest thing and say, well, this means that you support the terrorists that killed 9/11. Like, really, dude, it doesn't mean that at all. But if you want to go there just for the hyperbolic comment, then go ahead and say it. But that's why we're in this shit. That's what started this whole thing. No one had this outrage with the Saudis before the Khashoggi thing. There was none of this. You can't ride an Uber because you're back in 9/11. Go fuck yourself. Like, really?
The Chambly, he's the guy with the worst spot.
Yeah.
The guy in the worst spot. Brandel Chambly, my God.
Brandel Chambly, oh my God.
Bad for that guy.
Kepka's tweet was spectacular. Welfare check.
Welfare check.
It was phenomenal. Yeah. And
he went all in for he went all in the entire time.
Yeah. So what's
tough? I was in Canada. It was nice to get the tournament started last week after all that came out Tuesday. Yeah, I can definitely say that.
All right, so let's talk about this week, bro, because I was surprised that you weren't in the U.S. Open. Where do you have to be to the point where you're automatically qualified like every week? Like, what ranking do you have to have, or do you have to get a win for that to happen?
The U.S. Open's completely different. It's
okay.
A USGA event. USGA runs it. So that's their only event. So there's nothing on how you've done on the PGA Tour influences that. The only thing that you can get into that is, well, actually, I take that back. They've changed it. If you get to East Lake, so top 30 from the previous year, I think you're exempt.
Okay.
Also, world ranking, I'm not sure what the cutoff is, but
top 60 or something.
Yeah, probably like 60 gets you in. Outside of that, you got to qualify. Well,
okay.
And previous finishers from the previous year and finishers in other majors, but you got to be like way high finishers.
Okay.
So your world ranking would probably already be up there.
Okay.
But so I did qualifying the week of Colonial. I did it in Dallas, and I missed the playoff by one, so did not get in. So I played okay, but I had a ton of chances. I just didn't get it done. A couple silly mistakes, and yeah.
How do you feel? You feel your game is still is just continually getting better and better? I mean, your rankings keep going up and up. Are you feeling that on the course?
Yeah, I don't know. Everything's been solid. Like, I'm hitting the ball pretty well. My short game is really good this past week. My putting has been so much better, so much more what I'm used to this year versus last year. I think it's just a lot of it's just level of comfort on the course. Like, we talk about in football, like getting comfortable, the game slows down. I mean, golf's not really like that, but I guess the game's kind of slowed down. Like, I know these courses now. I guess not last week, but a lot of the courses I know. I'm in my process. I'm in my routine of every week. I show up. I do this on Tuesday. I do this on Wednesday. Like, I'm just kind of in the routine of going through my tournaments, and I feel comfortable out there. I'm not, less stressed, a little bit less nervous. And yeah, it's really been nice just to be on a nice stretch, making cuts and putting together good rounds.
That course last week looked like a lot of fun.
It was a really fun golf course. It was kind of odd for a PGA Tour event. Like, there was some really, usually you don't see that kind of quirkiness for tour courses. Usually PGA Tour courses are a little bit more business-like. And so it was definitely a nice little change up from what you'd usually see. There were some holes that you definitely don't see anywhere else on the rest of the PGA Tour.
And was 1 through 6 as hard as they
3 through 6. 1 and 2 were fun, but 3 through 6 was just brutal. They're all 460 plus. You missed the fairway, good luck. Like, the greens were crazy. Like literally the fifth hole is 460. It's like a par 4. It's uphill. It's one of the toughest. it had the crazy screen on the course. Like they had to put the pin all 4 pins were within 15 feet of each other. Because that's the only place on the green you can put the pin. Like it's just a combination of these crazy greens. One of them, 6, was a converted par 5, so the green was like the tiniest green on the course. But it's like a 480 hole where you can't even see the green from where you hit your tee shot to. And you're having like 200 in to the smallest green on the course that you can't even see. Like they were so brutal. But that was the thing. Like you knew, like, you know, my goal was to at least get 1 or 2. Like if I can get 1 or 2, you know, be 1 understanding on 3, and then just ride it out. If I can be 1 under walking off a 6 green, even if I'm even walking off a 6 green, I got the whole rest of the golf course to get after. So you had to just find a way to get pars there and ride it out. And actually, I think the first bogey I made on any of those holes the entire week, I missed a 4-footer on Sunday on 6, the very last
6.
hole.
Yeah,
I was so mad. I almost got through that whole stretch clean for the whole week. I was not happy.
All right, should we bang out some 5 questions and end this bad boy?
Hold on. So for that putt on 6, so I was with
that the lip out
back. We were in the pool.
I had a few of those.
That was the lip out that ended up 4 feet to the bottom of the hole. Yeah. So we're out and Kenzie's watching on my phone, right? She's watching on the PGA app, you know, which has got the shot tracers and this and that, whatever. And she's like, all right, so we're good. We're good. She's just got to make this one and then we're good. Because like she heard them talking about it and the whole thing, right? And I'm over there doing something else and it's my phone, right? All of a sudden I heard, I'm not going to do it because I'm afraid I'm going to break the damn thing. She turns my phone and slams the phone down on the table out back. And I said, what? And she goes, missed it. And I was like, and she like, literally, I thought she broke my phone. I'm like, give me my phone back. What are you doing? Oh my God. It was a trip. Having Kenzie be able to watch stuff like that and know what's going on is like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, we were over at went over to Rock and Bruce, and they had like a USFL game on. I go to the guy, he's like, bro, you got to put the golf on. Why are you putting golf on? I'm like, because we got a freaking Kane up there, freaking 1 shot off the lead right now in the final round. I go, oh, okay. They put it on the TV. It was beautiful, and then a
lot of TV time.
A lot of TV time, baby. A lot of TV time. It was good. I liked the outfit on Sunday. There was a lot of purple and pink, and there was a little chaos happening there.
It was the same outfit as.
It was dangerously close to Gator colors, but I got to wear what Adidas sends me. So
it was. What's his name?
It looked good though.
The German guy or who's the big rookie?
Aberg?
Huh? Say it again.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Advent or Adverg or
Ludwig Aberg. Yeah.
Aberg, yeah. He had the same shirt on.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I was always worried
so
about
Kenzie couldn't figure out who was who. She's like, "Oh, there he is." No, wait, that's not him. Yeah, same shirt.
Nick's Adidas guy, and so I was going to be playing with.
Oh, I know. I saw the picture of the two of you guys.
Same shirt. I always worry about that when I'm a 2-ball and Adidas guy.
Let's knock out 5 questions.
Questions.
All right, question number 1. What name is ruined for you?
Like a formal first name?
Any name, yeah. A name that's ruined for you because someone that had it, did something and you're just done with it.
Hillary.
I fucking knew you were going to say this. Jesus Christ. Every time. Just walking into that shit.
Replacing Rusty next week.
God.
You're going to be next. Better watch out.
Oh, my God.
I'm sure I'll get canceled for my whole little thing about Saudi Arabia.
Okay. So this is... I think this still counts. I really am not a fan of Andy. Like if people like shorten my name to Andy, I hate it. I do not like it. And so if I did go Andrew Jr., which I don't think I would do, I don't think I could do like Andy for like I just.
All right.
Just because of how I feel, but as far as like another name.
For me,
I can't wait to call him that. To be honest with you,
I know. I'm going to at the end of the show.
It ain't happening.
Going to make sure that Andy's answered all the questions. For me, it is, and this will age me, but it's OJ. like OJ is the first. Like, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't care what the O and the J stand for. It's just, you call me. I'm sorry. It's ruined for me. And there's a bunch of OGs I love. I love McDuffie and all of them, but yeah, no, it's ruined for me.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
All right. This is a great question, especially I'm hoping for Novak.
For Andy.
So we'll start with myself and Scoop, and you go last. Andrew Jr.
Mm-hmm.
What is the most uncomfortable feeling in the world?
Oh, the most uncomfortable feeling in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I got it.
Like emotionally?
Whatever, man.
Physically.
Oh,
I got mine 100%.
If yours doesn't have something to do with golf, I'm going to be pissed off.
It does not.
Oh, my God.
Nope. And Maddie will know exactly what.
Oh man, I don't. There's so many. What does that make me? I feel like there's a lot of them. I can't. I need more time.
Oh my God! All right. How about hanging out with a friend and hanging out with a friend of their friend, and that friend clearly does not like you?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. But that's just like awkward silence, right?
Well, yeah, but that's
that's
it's uncomfortable. For Roe, the answer would be watching Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yes.
That would be his answer. Just sitting in front of the TV for that.
I don't understand how he doesn't appreciate uncomfortableness of television shows. It's just so good because you can't get that in real life. Like you should be able to, but you can't. Like you can't replicate stuff like that.
All right.
Well, I'll go with mine then. You're taking forever. I guess it's not quite the same. That's like a bit more like emotionally or whatever. But I absolutely, like, if you get a hair in your mouth or something like that, that is the worst feeling in the world. Like I will start choking. Like I can't do it. Maddie knows what I'm talking about. It doesn't happen, a lot or anything, but oh my God, it is the worst. Yeah, I can like feel it. It gets stuck.
I was thinking you say it like standing over like a 10-foot putt, knowing there's like 3 million people watching on TV.
No, man, I do that all the time. Like I practice that every day. Like just a 10-footer.
Just a 10-footer.
All right, Scoop. What do you got?
And if you miss it, you still get like 1.6. So.
All right, are we skipping you?
It's true. Prostate exam.
Okay, I'll go along with that. Sure. Anytime you're getting a finger up the backside like that.
Not terribly comfortable, yeah.
No. Question number 3.
Years, so.
What is the weirdest fact you know?
It's going to make me seem stupid. I'm not sure I know anything.
I know a lot of dumb facts. I don't know about weird.
Well, there you go.
There, dumb facts. Dumb facts are good.
Yeah, weirdest, dumb, useless. I'll get us started here.
Okay, come on.
Did you know that pandas poop on average 40 times a day due to their high bamboo diet? Almost 62 pounds of poo a day.
Knock it off.
A lot of fiber, man. Yeah,
a lot, bro.
40 times.
All they do is just eat it. Yeah, 40 times a day they're pooping.
Sit there. I mean, you sit there and eat Fiber One bars all day. Let me know how many.
All right, I'm changing my answer to the last question.
Being a panda?
Being a panda.
All right.
I had to be a panda. That'd be the most uncomfortable feeling on earth. They get hemorrhoids, pandas, going to the bathroom 40 times a day.
Uh-huh.
Man,
All right.
that's
If you don't have another fact, I can fill in with a fact.
I don't know any
phone a
dumb
friend. I'll
fact.
bring one
I'm
to you.
so bad at
I'll
that.
bring one. I'll bring another one to the table for you if you want.
Come on. Go.
If you looked at 1 star per second, it would take you over 3,000 years to look at all the stars in the Milky Way galaxy.
1 per second.
It would take you 3,000 years to look at all of them.
Stars.
That's how insignificant we are.
How many of them have living beings?
Right? Yeah. At least one.
At least one. You see the you see the one that crashed in Nevada last week,
Yeah.
and the guy called. He said he had 10-foot people in his backyard.
I believe him.
Somebody said they put up cameras there, but the police are claiming they didn't put them up. But now there's cameras up everywhere around there. I saw something about that.
Yeah. I mean, they're out there. They're coming.
Yeah. All right.
What happened to all the balloons? They all disappeared.
What balloons?
I don't know. The spy.
Oh
balloons.
yeah, the air balloon. Yeah, the China balloons.
They don't need spy balloons now. They're down in Cuba.
All right, so here we go. This is a good one. Recite 90% of a movie and you get $100,000. What are you watching? Put the movie on and you got to recite 90% of it as it's playing for $100,000. What movie?
We did one of those 1920s silent films.
Oh, stop.
That's good.
That is a good answer.
Find it. That's a really good answer.
Little Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah. Definitely Top Gun for me.
For me, it's Major League.
Yeah, it's a good one too.
I don't think there's any single movie I've watched enough to feel comfortable quoting the whole thing. I can hit like some quote. I can hit some quotes and stuff, but
Caddyshack?
I don't think. Yeah, I can quote some of Caddyshack, but I'm
Frozen?
There are parts where I've never seen Frozen.
Neither have I. Scoop swears by it.
I could do that.
He says one of the greatest movies of all time.
I never said that.
Pretty sure you said that.
No, I never said that. I said that I thought 2 was better than 1. I never said that it was the greatest movie of all time. It's not even the best.
The soundtrack.
It's not even the best Disney movie, for God's sake.
All right.
Aladdin.
What movie you do?
Actually,
Aladdin's a good one.
I bet Elf. I'd be up there on Elf, like a Christmas movie, because I've seen those, like, annually. Maybe like Elf or National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, something like that. Actually, that would probably be one of my better chances.
Okay.
Yeah. We can do that one too.
All right. Final question. Dumbest name for a child.
Bert.
I'm going with whatever the fuck Alon named that kid with the friggin' triangle and the shit and the infinity scene.
All that
whatever the fuck that is. Yeah, that's stupid.
Or just any name that is unnecessarily difficult to spell. Like, it should be a normal name, but you just choose to spell it. Like, you're just causing problems. You're making the teacher already not like your kid. You're just
right. You're getting your
the teacher's not going to like your kid.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I say Bert. Bert's a pretty dumb
I don't hear a
name.
whole lot of Berts
Not
nowadays,
a lot of
do you?
Berts. No. I think it's a pretty stupid name. I remember I've always gone by Rusty. I don't know why I said that, but I've always gone by that. But in first grade, I think it was first grade, the teacher wanted me to learn or asked me to spell my real name, my legal name. And I had no clue. And every day she would ask me to spell it. This went on for months. I had no idea. And I never asked my parents how to spell my real name. And then like one day she like made me figure it out. I'm like, I don't understand why this is important. I don't know why I brought that up, but it was just a memory. It popped into my head.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say my runner-up would be like Apple, like Gwyneth Paltrow, Apple, or these stupid names like that.
Or North.
Probably Probably
Yeah.
any name
North
that
bad.
also would just be like don't name like Kim Jong or like Adolf or
Right,
something.
yes.
Like probably don't do
Hitler.
that.
Sure,
'Cause,
yeah,
like, you're
you know,
just setting them up to fail.
Yeah.
But that falls on the parents. So yeah.
Yeah, but there's parents though that like do the whole naming thing, and it's all about them.
Of
And
course,
it's
it's about
totally
them.
obvious when you hear
Also-
the name.
Falls on the parents.
Yeah.
So, like,
I mean, they don't have to think about anything about the kid
No.
and what your kid's going to have to deal with that name.
Big Gronk.
Baby Gronk.
Baby Gronk.
What's that kid's
Good
real
God.
name? I haven't seen much about him. The only thing that I saw was the podcast he was doing,
Yes.
where they would ask him
Well,
a
they wanted to get
question,
him on
he'd
the
answer, and he's
podcast.
like, no, ask that again.
Yeah.
And then this is what you said. I was like, what on earth
Yeah.
is this?
This is a Todd Marinovich father. Remember Todd
I
Marinovich?
do.
He was bred to be a quarterback and got the gig at USC, and then was drafted by the Raiders and absolutely flamed out.
Yep.
But like his dad raised him to be a quarterback from like 6.
So like, what is it with Baby Gronk or whatever this kid's name is?
He's just like he's just
Nothing.
been
He's-
bred to be a monster, an
He's like,
amazing
how
football
old is
player,
he? Like 11? Like I don't even
something
know.
like that. Yeah.
I actually haven't even seen a clip of him actually playing football. I've only seen clips of him on podcasts or I don't know. I don't know.
If he grows up to be Big Gronk, congratulations. But I'm guessing there's just as good a chance he could grow up to be Aaron Hernandez.
I would guess that that's a much higher percentage.
So, like, damn.
Either
bro.
way, you better hope he's hitting 6'7" to be either of those. So
Stunt.
oh,
He got stunted.
Yes. All right. Let's do this. Has been a long ass pod. Thank you so much, Andrew. We got to name this thing.
Oh.
So what? Like, don't call him Andy.
oh gosh. Do not call me Andy.
Or what do we got
Good one.
here?
What happened during this show?
I don't know. What did I write down?
I didn't write anything. Man.
Second take
Novak,
show.
come on, come on,
Rusty
give
doesn't know
us
how to spell
something.
his name. There was no good one, man. You gotta be funnier.
Oh, we got to be funnier.
Wow.
Got to be funnier.
Rusty's washed.
Jason Taylor's ass.
Hey.
I like. Don't call me Andy.
Don't call me Andy. I like that too.
I'm good with that.
All right. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. So when is your next? What's the next tournament that we can watch you play in? Will that be Travelers?
It's Travelers. I'll be flying.
Okay, up in
Monday.
Hartford, Cromwell.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
I'll get my peeps out there to cheer you on.
I'm gonna have a few people showing up. I think so. Yeah.
Nice. All
I
right.
think actually there was a guy walking around with a Miami gear on last year. I remember flashed a little U at him. I don't know why, but he was up there.
Do you still have an opportunity to qualify for the Open? The
No.
British Open?
Nope.
No. Okay.
Yes. Sorry.
What would have to happen?
There are a few events still left, so I think Travelers has it. John Deere definitely has it. I should be in the Scottish Open, but basically high finishes in those events. I don't know what the cutoffs are, but certain
Okay.
finishes in those events will get British Open
Awesome.
qualification.
All right.
I think Scottish is probably the easiest. I think there's about 10 available spots there, so it's like maybe it's not 10, maybe it's like 5, but it's like the top however many finishers that aren't already exempt, sort of thing.
Gotcha.
will get
Okay.
spots.
Is that at a different course every year? Or the same Scottish.
The Open or the Scottish? Yeah, it's the same. So it's at Renaissance over there.
Beautiful. All right. Best of luck, man. We'll be rooting for you and watching you. Looking for all that TV time. As always, go Canes!
Bang.
That's another episode in the books. The Orange Bowl Boys are brought to you by Ed Morse Automotive Group. Visit edmorse.com.